Recently, the local trading card shop I'm employed at, Top Tech Cards and Games, was broken into and we had multiple prize cards stolen from our store. I understand it's a reach, but if anybody has any information regarding this, please don't hesitate to private message me or the Top Deck Cards and Games Facebook group if you have any information. Cards like Blood Mephist, as well as a whole bunch of super rare Yu-Gi-Oh! Prize cards were taken, so these are all very valuable items, So again, if you have any information on that, don't hesitate to drop us a link there.
I love bad bitches, that's my fucking problem. And yeah, I like the fuck, I got a fucking problem.
What's up, my Nimrod? It's Gage coming back at you guys again with another video today. I am 1 quintillion, bazillion, jabillion, jabroni thankful that you guys would spend a couple minutes with me here today to talk about a children's card game that we both mutually enjoy enough to talk about on a competitive level. And today's topic we are tackling is one that a lot of players aren't really new to, and that is whether or not our beloved friend Elemental Hero Stratos can come off the Forbidden and Limited list. At the time of making this video, it's been over 4 years since we've had Elemental Hero Stratos in any playing capacity in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, in at least the TCG meta. And really from its roots of being banned, a lot of players still don't understand why this card got the axe and why it should remain under the axe. It's semi-limited currently in the OCG, so why can't we have nice things here in the TCG? Well, hopefully today I can explain to you guys, at least maybe give a reason why it's still forbidden on the TCG Forbidden and Limited list, even though I strongly believe the card should come back. I understand grossly countering my original thoughts on the card way back in the day. If you happen to watch my guest upload on MCool40's channel way back, and I think it was like 2015. Don't go watch it. That's that embarrassing time again. No. But I used to say like Elemental Hero Stratos could never come back. I forget what my reasoning was, but I guarantee it was terrible because in that same video I said that a card like Yatagarasu can come back. Goes to show exactly how much of a tard I was. But since I've matured since then, I figured we can have a mature conversation about our boy, Elemental Hero Stratos, and whether or not he can come back. A lot has happened since his banning of the September 1st, 2013 ban list, I believe it was. That is super old, and everybody will tell you that the game's changed since 2013. That's no joke now. But hopefully let me provide a little bit of a history of you guys of when this card was banned, the exact time frame. So this card, Elemental Hero Stratos, was at 1 for the longest time in 2013. Following that, of course, of the one deck that got to play Stratos at 3 for literally 1 YCS. I think it was an entire week that Stratos remained at 3. That deck, of course, was Airblade Turbo. This was a deck made entirely possible because Stratos was a card, and it was a damn good card, dropped at a time when you could look at this card and say it was fucking crazy. It was at 3, and as people thought, it was fucking crazy. Deck proceeded to just smash the YCS, and then I think it was like the following week or not too long later, a ban list was dropped and Stratos was put swiftly to 1. From there, Stratos remained at 1 for a super long time, and it wasn't until September 1st of 2013 that Stratos got put to a fine 0 on the Forbidden and Limited list, and it left a lot of people asking, you know, why? There really wasn't even a good reason to put Stratos on the Forbidden and Limited list, as there wasn't really any decks dominating the meta at the time that Stratos was played in. Stratos was just overall a really good card, yes, and it did make one deck simply possible, and that deck was actually Bubble Beat. For people that don't remember what Bubble Beat was, it's probably one of the most recent Elemental Hero decks that was actually able to perform. The most recent, actually, and that's all the way back in 2013. I guess you could say like Masked Heroes or something like that, but I don't really think that deck took off here in the TCG. It did in the OCG, though. That deck was pretty cool. I'm getting off track, though. Bubble Beat. Bubble Beat was a deck that focused around the fact that Elemental Hero Stratos was really even just a card. Was able to search out your entire deck, essentially. You would play a very slim monster count, and the whole goal was to be able to get 2 monsters on the field, so you could banish Stratos as well as Neos Alias, to summon a card like Elemental Hero Shining, or you could summon Absolute Zero if you played Bubble Man. The only monsters you would play in this deck is Stratos, 3 Neos Alias, 3 Bubble Man, and then if you're feeling fancy, maybe a Thunder King. But since you had cards like E, Emergency Call, and then Stratos, your deck was always searchable at all times. The thing was is you would just play E, Emergency Call to get yourself into Stratos, or you would just summon Stratos to get yourself a Neos Alias or a Bubble Man, and then once you got those in rotation, you were constantly being able to get back Stratos to your hand through the effect of Elemental Hero The Shining. Now, The Shining wasn't anything too miraculous. It was a card that just was a beefy dude, really, when you had heroes banished. But the cool thing about this card is that when it was destroyed by battle or card effect, you would be able to add 2 of your banished hero monsters from your banished zone to your hand. And since you were doing all your fusing with the card Miracle Fusion, they were banished anyways, so then you would be able to add back your elemental hero Stratos, which then you would normal summon it again and get the ball rolling all over again. It was really just a deck that was meant to grind for multiple turns and flourish on the fact that you could play a whole bunch of traps with no drawback just because your entire monster count, all 7 or 8 of the monsters, was pretty much searchable by one card. That card was Stratos. And even looking at it currently, a card like the Shining isn't actually anything that fantastic, but back in 2013, that card was really difficult to get around because they would always be guaranteed essentially those 2 monsters to get back. The deck did struggle a little bit though at the time when Chaos Dragons really were at their peak because people were playing cards like Soul something. What the fuck is that card? Soul Drain? I don't remember the name. I'll throw the image up there, but people were playing that and cards like Raikou because since this card was a when, it could miss the timing, kind of like that of Light Pulsar Dragon. I made a whole video on this stuff. I really missed that mechanic. But since the card could miss timing and people were actually main decking outs to deal with Light Pulsar Dragon, they also doubly dealt with a card like Elemental Hero the Shining. So the deck kind of went through a rough patch at that time. But what I'm really trying to emphasize is people had to work to get around the Shining. People were always really guaranteed those 2 draws back. You were not really shuffling the card back into the deck, or you weren't, what's other things we're doing nowadays? You're not tributing it over with a Gamma Seal. There was no easy button back then for that kind of card. But even saying all this, I make it sound like Bubble Beat was crazy, but there was so much more ridiculous shit back then. Chaos Dragons at their full power was one of the decks that Bubble Beat saw the entire age through. Chaos Dragons were way, way better than Bubble Beat ever was. Bubble Beat in most players' minds was a deck that they could say, yeah, you know, that deck's playable. It wasn't never really a tier 0 broken type deck. Wasn't one that people were actively calling for hits against on the ban list, because there really wasn't much you could do to it. For Christ's sake, the deck fucking played Neos Alias, which is a vanilla monster, plus Gemini Spark, just so it could get some sort of playability out of the monsters it was playing. 1900 beats is fucking cool, I guess, but you had to play Gemini Spark to get Neos Alias to do anything. You used Neos Alias just because it was a stupid light target to summon the Shining with. That's literally, like, the deck was so flimsy, it's laughable, and it was all held together by this one card Stratos, and that all came to a crashing point on September 1st, 2013, when this card was put to 0, and again, everybody wanted it off the ban list since then. But can this card come back into today's standards? Well, there's a lot that's happened since 2013, especially for the hero archetype, that we have to take into consideration when we want to bring Elemental Hero Stratos back. We got an entire new wave of masked hero support in that time span, including an entirely new Elemental Hero, Shadow Mist, which is essentially in most players' minds the replacement for Stratos. In a lot of cases, a lot of people might even say Shadow Mist is better than Stratos, even though that's entirely bullshit, but some people might say that. But even if we want to consider in the masked hero archetype, how good is Stratos really? Well, Stratos can of course get you into Shadow Mist, but as far as the masked heroes go, the wind ones, oh, they're garbage, man. You have masked hero Divine Wind, which when it destroys a monster by battle, you draw a card, which is kind of neat. And then you have another wind one that got released recently. Hold on, let me find this. Masked hero Blast is the other one, and that one bounces a spell or trap and then halves a monster's attack. They're both really bad compared to Dark Law. Fucking Dark Law is insane, dude. I mean, fuck, look at this. Look at this. They got fucking my boy. They got my boy, Masked Hero, Elemental Hero Wildheart, and they got your boy Divine Wind down here, but they ain't got no Masked Hero Blast. I guess they realized the card fucking sucks. But besides that, what else do we have? We got fucking other Vision Hero support that got released. Those did absolutely nothing on release. People talked about the one dude that could dump a hero from your deck to your graveyard and then add like a polymerization from your deck to your hand. I mean, that's neato, but you can talk as much as you want. If the card's not being played, it sucks. Would that card be made playable with Elemental Hero Stratos coming back? I can honestly say probably not. The last thing I did see though, and it's actually unfortunately the reason probably Stratos isn't coming back, is the new Link dude coming out for Elemental Heroes, Extra Hero Wonder Driver. This card's insane if people don't know what it does. It requires 2 hero monsters. If a hero monster is normal or special summoned to your zone this card points to, target 1 poly spell, fusion spell, or change quick play spell in your graveyard to set that target. You can only use this effect of Extra Hero Wonder Driver once per turn. This card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if it would leave your possession, destroyed by opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 hero monster from your hand. This is really powerful with a card in tandem like Elemental Hero Stratos would make a lot of things possible with this. Not only the fact that Elemental Hero Stratos gets its effect when it's normal summoned or special summoned that you can search, but you would also actually be able to do what I want to call the Bubble Beat Classic, which is you would summon Elemental Hero Stratos, get Bubble Man, special Bubble Man, and then you can make extra hero here. Pretty simply, and that's all neat and everything, because then you can follow up with like Miracle Fusion and then banish the 2, bring out the Shining in the back row, and then set that Miracle Fusion again. Oh, it's fucking cool. I think that's pretty neat. But is that something we should be scared about? It's like looking at Bubble Beat in today's standards. Are we really scared about Bubble Beat in 2017 when we have shit like Spirals summoning multiple Link monsters in a turn, and Grinder Golem doing some shitty things with Link Kuriboh? What are we fucking scared about? I mean, are we scared about Legacy of a Hero becoming a good card? Return 2 fusion monsters from your graveyard to the extra deck that list a hero monster as a material, draw 3 cards. You can only activate 1 Legacy of a Hero per turn. That's a good Yu-Gi-Oh card. Maybe then we'd actually have a fucking excuse to play a card like Masked Hero Blast or Masked Hero Divine Wind, so we can get 2 heroes in the graveyard other than fucking Dark Law, the only one people play. I'm getting really passionate about this because it doesn't make any fucking sense. I definitely think Elemental Hero Stratos can come back. I really don't see a reason it should still be on the Forbidden and Limited list. I really dug deep to see if there was any really broken interactions, anything that was like, oh, this is an FTK, we can't touch this. But I haven't found it. The card's at 2 in the OCG, and I've said this before, but we are as close to the OCG meta here in the TCG as we have ever been since we've split lists. If we want to draw comparisons from the OCG list, now is the time to do so. There's so many similarities between our 2 lists. The meta has always shaped up to be the exact same, the past few ones I want to say, that there's really no business that we can't look at a card like Stratos, see how it's performing in the OCG, and then translate that into the TCG over here. But that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think of Elemental Hero Stratos. Can this card actually come back, or am I talking that crazy talk? I'd love to hear what you guys think.
That's all, folks.
If you guys liked the video, be sure to like the video, thumbs up the video, how to express you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please do consider subscribing to my channel. I am uploading regularly, and it makes me very happy when you hit that subscribe button. Almost at 15K. I want to make it there. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Nim Nim signing out.